Hi everyone, I'm Kara Sunthal. Let's take a look at what was happening in Connecticut today in history. 1 year ago, on December 10th, 2020, with COVID rates surging, local teachers delivered a petition to the governor calling for protection in the classroom. Chief Capitol reporter Susan Raff reports.
No one is pleased or satisfied at signing this petition.
A petition with 14,000 signatures was rolled out on the steps of the state capitol. Those who signed it are teachers, educators, and parents.
We find that the level of risk in our schools can be unacceptable. And it greatly varies from what was promised last fall.
Teachers and school staff want to establish and enforce consistent safety measures and require uniform transparency when it comes to reporting and responding to COVID cases. They say what exists now are loosely put together recommendations, and they want concrete standards from the state. They also support more testing, especially in schools. Last month, Middletown announced a partnership with the Community Health Center to start a pilot program to allow school nurses to give rapid tests. But their bottom line is, if safety standards can't be met, then all schools should go remote.
Now let's look at what's happening in Hereford, Norwalk, West Haven, and Wyndham, and many other districts where staffing is very short due to infections and quarantine. Their school buildings remain open for in-person or hybrid learning, well past the time they should be closed.
5 years ago, a fire in Rocky Hill destroyed a home and killed 2 people. Eyewitness News reporter Eva Zamaris has the story.
It's scary. It's probably one of the scariest things in my life.
Josh McGee turned on the lights and looked through all the windows of his Walnut Road home after his dog started barking at something outside.
I went outside and I just saw smoke pouring out from the back side of the house, which is right next to my house, and I called 911 and I started seeing flames shoot out while I was on the phone.
The Rocky Hill Fire Department was called to Josh's street around 3:15 Saturday morning. The house right next to where Josh and his family live caught fire.
Our first crews were met by heavy fire and smoke.
Smoke and flames billowed from the roof, and the fire quickly spread throughout the home. Assistant Fire Chief David Croma says they had it under control within an hour.
My first thought was the safety of my family and my kids, but then as soon as I made sure everybody was awake and ready to evacuate if needed, my next thought was, I hope they're okay.
Josh says he looked on, hoping everyone made it out safely. But 2 people, a man and a woman, died in this fire. They were found in upstairs bedrooms. 1 firefighter was treated and released on the scene.
Other neighbors we spoke with who were just starting to wake up and who were just starting to come out of their homes to see this damage for themselves, they say they were absolutely devastated and heartbroken to hear the news.
Detectives from the Rocky Hill Police Department, the Rocky Hill Fire Marshal, and the Connecticut State Police Fire Marshal's Office are now working together to find out how this fire started.
It's under investigation. We don't know at this point in time. That's why we have all the resources here to investigate it.
With the mobile newsroom in Rocky Hill, Eva Zamaris, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
10 years ago, fire destroyed some beloved beach homes in Old Saybrook. Channel 3's Kim Lucy reports.
This chimney is all that's still standing of what used to be a seaside cottage at 53 Beach Road West in Old Saybrook. Firefighters say they were called here for a fire just after 1:30 this morning, and by the time they arrived, the cottage next door was also full of flames. The fire nearly spread to a third home, scorching the siding on the outside.
Just wanted to see what was going on.
Brian LaPierre is one of the few homeowners who lives in this beachside community year-round. He says when he heard the fire trucks this morning, he ran outside to check things out and caught the fire on camera from a neighbor's porch. His video shows what firefighters were up against. They say since these homes are mostly used in the summer and nobody was home when the flames broke out, it was hard for them to get it under control.
I was burning pretty bad. It was out of control. I guess there were a couple propane tanks that exploded.
Now, many of these houses here are summer homes, and the house at 51 is no exception. I spoke with the homeowner this morning. He says they live in Farmington year-round, and that's where he was this morning when he got the call from firefighters here, letting him know his summer house is destroyed. He said they'd had the house for about 5 years now, and they're devastated.
Today, state and local fire marshals used canines to search the debris as they try to figure out what caused the fire. Officials tell me these homes had been closed down for the winter. Usually that means the electricity and water are shut off. Neighbors here say they keep an eye out for each other, especially during the slow season.
Yeah, well, it's a small community, so when something like that happens, usually you know the people. So you just worry about whose house it was.
In Old Saybrook, Kim Lucy, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
That's a look at Today in Connecticut history.